Our first member from the class of 2026 is Mili Reynoso, whose speech is titled How I Learned to Listen.
Picture this. 4 years ago, at an ungodly hour, I'm up studying for my AP World History exam, and my dad comes downstairs for some water. Mija, why are you trying so hard to go to college? It's useless. It doesn't train doers and change makers. Professors, politicians, lawyers, all they get paid for is to talk and read and write. And they talk down to us because they think they're better than us. Never be like them. Be a doer. Although many of you may disagree with his words, and I did so too at first, today I think there's something we can all learn from him. I come from South Texas. My high school was a 15-minute drive from the border with Mexico, and my graduating class was 94% Mexican. This skepticism of authority is not something just my father had, but a lot of my classmates and their parents too. This is normal among low-income and marginalized communities, according to many scholars such as Annette Leroux in her 2002 sociological study on invisible inequality. Coming to Hamilton from that climate totally changed me, for better and for worse. I started using academic terminology and quoting academic articles in politically correct language. I thought it was a better way of speaking and writing. It was more informed, more sensible. But it also scared me. It scared me because I knew that when I went back home and tried to share with everyone what I had learned, they would not respect the way I was speaking. They would not listen to it. It was too academic, too condescending, y muy grosero. Well, why do marginalized communities not respect or trust authority and professionals and academics? And what can we do to change that? The answer is simple. We need to learn how to mirror each other's language. In academic spaces like Hamilton College, we are used to speaking one way, a professional way, and we are never forced outside of that comfort zone. But because if we stay in this comfort zone, we fall into these communication traps. One of these communication traps is language orthodoxy. Language orthodoxy is a term coined by Nigerian writer Ngozi Chimamanda Adichie. It is the idea that there's only one right way to say something. One example of language orthodoxy is political correct or inclusive language. In trying to be culturally sensitive, our political and academic communities have been developing this whole entire dictionary of politically correct terms to use. The problem is that a lot of these minority communities are not taught or socialized to use these politically correct words. And when we don't hear them as academics, often we assume that the speaker is bigoted, misinformed, homophobic, racist, sexist. We don't even listen to the message behind the words. They might be saying the exact same thing we are, just with different words, and still misunderstandings arise. One example of this is when one of my sisters came out as bisexual to my father. After weeks of gathering her courage, he said, "I don't care about that, mija. That's your business. You shouldn't be telling people this. Keep that to yourself." My sister called him homophobic. And at first, I agreed with her. We expected him to react differently with joy or a celebration, or maybe an empathetic talk, or the words, "I support you," or "ally." But what he said, if we translate it into our political correct language, is, "Mija, as your father, I cannot judge you over who you love. I will not judge you. In fact, no one should. Keep these matters close to your heart so no one can hurt you and your loved ones. I love you just the way you are, whatever way that is." But political correctness, it limited our hearing and our ability to understand each other. I didn't realize what I was doing wrong until I talked to a friend of mine from my hometown. He's a no bullshit kind of guy, so he saw right through me. "¿Quién te crees?" he asked. "Who do you think you are?" Stop expecting everyone else to come into your comfort zone as if it was better than theirs. You think your way of speaking is the only right one? Are you only willing to participate on your terms? Fuck you, you're not that special. Although it was tough to hear, it was the truth. I needed to become more flexible with my speaking and my listening. I needed to start mirroring the language of those around me again. It was a way to show them respect, and it was a better way so we could understand each other. But if you're hesitant to pick up certain friendly slang or lingo or vocabulary you're not used to, I suggest you try this first. Translate the message of what you hear into terms that you know. If a middle schooler says, "Miss Johnson, you're the GOAT," which is Gen Z speak for greatest of all time, though, then instead of getting flustered or offended, Miss Johnson needs to stop and translate the message. "Miss Johnson, you're the GOAT," to "Miss Johnson, you're so cool and amazing." Then she needs to respect it and mirror it. When am I not the GOAT? We need to challenge ourselves to go outside of our comfort zones. Even when we use new vocabulary awkward or when we're scared, because the real thing we should fear is limiting the positive impact on the world on each other because of how we speak. Someday, if you aren't already, you might be the next professors, scientists, bosses, and managers. And if you're not careful, you may perpetuate this cycle of miscommunication and oppression. And as long as we stand divided as a society by this miscommunication, we will keep putting each other into these boxes of either the doer or the thinker. And we'll never allow each other to be both and influence each other and cooperate and respect each other. If you want to take the lessons you learned here at the college and apply them to the greater world and enrich it, we need to communicate better. We need to overcome language orthodoxy so we can listen to each other better. We need to go outside of our comfort zones and mirror the language of those we speak with. Only then will we create systems and a society where everyone can participate in bettering our communities. Thank you.